kindergarten. This week for math, we are going to be talking about clocks. Kindergarten, do we have a clock like this in our classroom? We do. It's up next to our door. We also have one in the hallway at school. Do you have a clock like this at your house? This is called an analog clock. An analog clock has numbers that go around. It has a long hand. See this stick right here? That's called a hand. This is called the minute hand. The long minute hand goes around the whole clock, but it only moves one time every minute. This shorter hand is called the hour hand. It moves from these big numbers every hour. How long is an hour? Well, kindergarten, in order for this short hand to move to the next number, our long hand has to go all the way around one time. That is 60 minutes. So what we're going to do now, I have my tablet right here, and we are going to time ourselves for 1 minute just to see how long a minute is. Are you ready? Okay, take a big deep breath. Here we go. That was 1 minute, kindergarten. So our minute hand would only move about that much. It has to move all the way around, which means it takes 60 minutes. We just sat here for 1 minute. Could you sit like that for 60 minutes? That'd be a really long time, kindergarten. So now that we know that this is our clock, this is our analog clock, that means it has numbers and it has hands. The long hand's called the minute hand and the short hand is called the hour hand. Now that we know that, let's see if we can figure out how to read this thing. So, my long minute hand, whenever that is pointing up to this number, the number 12, we say o'clock. So right now, my long minute hand is pointing up to the 12, which means I say o'clock. But I don't just say o'clock. Have you ever had someone tell you that it's o'clock? If you ever say, hey, what time is it? Do they say it's o'clock? No. We need to look at our hour hand to see what number goes in front of that o'clock. That'll tell us what time it is. So right now, my short hour hand is pointing at the 2. So the way I'm going to say this time, I'm going to say the hour hand, what it's pointing at first, and then because my minute hand is pointing to the 12, then I'll say o'clock. So right now this time is 2 o'clock. This clock is telling me that it's 2 o'clock. And in kindergarten, we're only going to practice with our minute hand pointing at the 12. We will worry about the minute hand pointing at other numbers when we're in first grade. So right now, kindergarten, this clock says it is 2 o'clock. Let's practice some other times. Let me see if I can make one, and then you can guess what it is at home. Oh, I'm going to bring it around. And remember, kindergarten, my clock has some fancy numbers on it because it came from my kitchen. We don't need to make our numbers fancy in kindergarten. You can have fancy things around, but try and make your numbers as nice and neat as possible in kindergarten. Save the fanciness for later. Here we go. What time is on my clock now? Remember, we're going to look at the hour hand first. That one's pointing at the number 5. and my long minute hand's pointing at the number 12. So this is 12. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is 5 o'clock. There we go, Miss Stoller. This is 5 o'clock. Okay, let's do another one. Oh, kindergarten. It takes a second. I've got to make sure this goes all the way. Okay, I'm going to give you a tricky one now. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. My hour hand is still there. Do you know where it went? My short hour hand is pointing at the 12 this time. And my minute hand, of course, is still pointing at the 12. So what time would this say? This says 12 o'clock. My hour hand's pointing at the 12, and so is my minute hand. So it is 12 o'clock. Let's do another one, kindergarten. I bet you guys are getting really good at this at home. And remember, if you have a clock at home like this one, we're only practicing with analog clocks this week, only analog clocks. Next week, we'll get into a different type of clock. But if you have a clock like this one at home, or if you printed out and made that clock that I provided for you, or if you downloaded that really cool app that I sent to your grown-ups, you can be practicing your times with me. All right, kindergarten, let's check this one out. Ooh, interesting. So our hour hand is pointing to the 6, and our minute hand always points to the 12. So what time would this be? This would be 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. We'll do just one more together, okay? I'm going to go up here. All right, kindergarten, your last one today. Where's that hour hand pointing? Which number? The short hand, the hour hand, is pointing to the 10. And then our minute hand is still pointing up to the 12. So our time today is 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Kindergarten, you can go and grab your clock that you have for practice, and you can make some times now. Now remember, right now in kindergarten, the minute hand, the long hand, only points to the 12. That's the only one we're practicing right now. This is called telling time to the hour. Kindergarten, go see what kind of times you can make. See if you can find someone in your house who can guess your times. I'll see you guys later.